Okay, then continuing with the last session of this 5 days faculty development program titled UAV and its application, presented by Dr. Himanshu Govil, Assistant Professor in the Department of Applied Geology at National Institute of Technology, Raipur. We have already listened a session of Sir, I think last day, but still I brief his introduction. He has completed in PG Analytics from Indian Remote Sensing and ITC Netherlands and PhD from Aligarh Muslim University in the year 2014. He joined NIT Raipur in the year 2015 as an assistant professor after having a brief career as assistant GIS officer with World Wildlife Fund, that is WWF India. Hyperspectral remote sensing for hydrothermal alteration and for mineral exploration, image classification, object-oriented classification, GIS, cartograph are his few area of expertise. Sir, we welcome you again and request you to start the session.
Thank you, Deepti, for the brief introduction. PPT is visible to all?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, good morning to all of you. After the brainstorming session of the last session, we are now moving towards the space technology again with the unmanned aerial vehicle. So we do have a topic related to the space technology, which is in our hand, which is called as the unmanned aerial vehicle. Unmanned aerial vehicle are basically vehicles which is flying in the aerial movement with the help of the human intervention, but they are unmanned. So we'll be moving in this section. We have divided this section into two: a brief introduction about the UAVs and then its application, and we are also covering the part of the GIS use of the UAVs. In general, we used to know this technology as a drone, which is a very common term which we do have from this technology. It's a technological term which is actually called as the unmanned aircraft. In general, it's a drone is a flying robot. We are also considering it's a robot because everything is being done at the drone part, though the control is with us. It's a flying robot that can be remotely controlled or fly autonomously through the software controlled flight planes in their embedded systems, working in conjunction with the onboard sensor and the GPS. So a UAV has multiple units, which is actually called as the integration. That's why it has some other names too. But it is basically considered as a autonomously through software controlled flight plans. Drone are also known as the UAVs and UAS. UAS is called as the Unmanned Aircraft System. We will discuss why we are calling this as a system. It has multiple names also, like the drones, UAVs, UAS, RPV, etc., etc. We will discuss it, though we are already talking about the drone, so it is only the names which is being used. So the terminology is like UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicle, uninhabited aerial vehicles are also named. They are also called unmanned aerial systems. They are remotely pilot vehicles, remotely pilot aircrafts, remotely piloted aircraft systems, remotely operated air vehicles, and micro air vehicles. They all are the synonyms of each other. They are actually the synonyms of the drones. As per their utility, they have their change. But in terms of the terminology, drone is basically remotely flown target aircraft. That's it. In the case of UAVs, an unmanned aerial vehicle, which is actually an aircraft piloted by remote control or by onboard computer. This is a marginal difference, how the drone and the UAV is actually changing. UAS, when we are talking about the S, it means we are talking about the systems. So systems includes a ground control stations, data links, and other support system. Whenever we are using the word system, it means we are talking about the whole unit which is actually being used in the UAV technology. We do have the underwater vehicle, which is called as the UUWV, unmanned underwater vehicle. So currently we do have the technology that the drone technology can also be used underwater. This is how we are calling it as a system, which is called as the UAS. It is an unmanned aircraft which you are seeing. It is a ground control unit and is a cockpit. This cockpit is not like the human one. It is something like which can be operated by the aerial systems. So that's why we are calling it as a system. So aerial photograph which you are taking by UAVs can be a simple drone, can be a part of the UAVs, or can be a part of the systems. Systems only require when we are doing a large survey kind of thing in an area that required a continent level rather than a local level. So when we are working in a continent kind of thing, we have to go for a system because the accuracy is more important to us, and we are using this in terms of the GPS location or in a DGPS mode, RTK mode. This is how the systems are actually working. This is your drone, which is actually connected to the satellites which are available in the nearby areas. We do have a launch and recovery element here, then central control element here. Then we do get the multiple band systems to get the information about this drone through the satellites. So there are multiple ways by which we can get. So, and this is what actually you who is actually trying to fly, or it may be possible that this is a control station which you have developed to connect all these things into a systematic mode. So US basically depends on the coverage which you are doing. In general, once you are going for a continental coverage, it requires a US system. Like if you have gone to the remote sensing, we do have a SAR mission and the digital elevation models available, and that is basically the parts of this UAS system. SRTM, Space Radar Topographic Mission. That is basically the part of this kind of systems. This is how the ground pilot, and that GIS is basically a drone GIS, ground station information system. It's a completely different. It's the information, ground-based information system is there. It's a ground pilot. You have the drones. It has a FOV, and it can capture the ground undulation. Apart from the drone technology, taking the photograph, it also covers the undulations. So once we are covering the undulations of the terrain, it requires the proper GPS locations. When we're talking about the classification, we do get multiple type of drones. One is the target and the decoy. This is how providing ground and aerial gunnery a target that simulates an enemy aircraft or missiles. Another type of UAV technology called as the reconnaissance, which provide a battlefield intelligence or any reconnaissance survey in any of the area. Combating, it has a attack capability, so it provides a attack systems in the UAVs also. Logistics, these are designs for the cargo and the logistic operation. Recently, in America, Amazon have started this UAV logistical systems. R&D, basically it is used for the UAV technologies to be integrated into field deployed UAVs aircrafts. So this is basically an integration which we are doing right now with the GPS, with the DGPS information, with the multiple sensors to get the information about the terrain. So this is like the Cartosat satellites which we have done. So Cartosat is also having the capabilities to go for a stereo mode, and the same work we can also do with the UAVs in a small area, for a small area. For a civil and commercial, UAV is specifically designed for civil and commercial application. For the civil purpose, for the architecture purpose, we do have drone which can create the 3D of a full building. So this is a particular type of classification, though this classification is not restricted as per their needs. This classification is now growing. In general, this is the classification of drones can be made on the basis of aerial platforms which is being used by the drones or the UAVs. But in general, they are having the major 4 types. One is multi-rotor, another is single rotor helicopters, next is fixed wings, next is fixed wing hybrid VTOL. In general, whatever the drones are available in the market, it will be categorized it under 4. We will discuss it one by one. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is a multi-rotor. Rotor means the wings which you are seeing here is a multi-rotors. It may be quadcopter, it may be octocopter. Quad means you are having the 4 wings, and octa means you are having the 8 wings. So multi-rotor drone are most common type of drones which are used by the professionals or the hobbyists. They are having the application like aerial photography, aerial video surveillance, or multiple. What is the basic utility of the multi-rotor drones are they can carry the high weight. Multiple rotors means they are actually able to carry the high rotor drains, high weight, and it does not provide a ground particularly for the flying. So this is the benefit of the multi-rotors. Single rotor drones, it seems like a very small size and a very similar in design and structure of the actual helicopters like things. Unlike the multi-rotor drone, it has a single rotor. This is only a single rotor. And model just one big sized rotor plus a small size one on the tail of the drone to control its heading. 2 things are very important in the case of drone. One is called as the endurance. Endurance means we are talking about the time of the drones which can fly or which can be in the air. So another one is the weight which it can carry. These 2 things are very important in terms of the application which you are doing with the drones. So these, if the rotors are more, it require more power to carry, but it can also carry the weight. As we are coming down to single rotor systems, it can fly more, but it cannot go for a high weight. These are the fixed wing drones. Fixed wing drones are entirely different in design and built to the multi-rotor because they are using the wings, which is like the normal airplanes. And for flying these fixed wing drones, it requires the runway, and this is more important. But the best portion of these drones are they have a high endurance. It means they can fly for an hours, and apart from this they can carry the weight also. But the drawback is they require the runway to fly because it's fly like the same airplanes. This is a hybrid one which we do have. So it's a hybrid version combining the benefit of fixed wings, higher flying time with the rotor based technology. So by using this, we are trying to get the most of our benefits in terms of the time as well as in terms of the weight. So in a general, these four categories are currently available in the market. Now we are coming to the UAV systems available and the accessories. Currently, DJI is actually providing the certified drones in the Indian markets or outside India also. They are certified in the sense that this technology have proven record and it is accepted by multiple countries. They have a series of the UAVs like the Phantoms, Mavic, Matris, Inspire, Agras, 3D, and they have multiple accessories too, which we can use for the flying. We are coming to these systems. This is a Phantom series. Phantom series is a quadcopter kind of thing. It's a 5 direction of obstacle sensing. It has a sensors. When it fly, it is actually having the sensor somewhere here. So he can judge the base, and 4 direction of obstacle avoidance. So it's a 5 direction of obstacle sensing and 4 direction of obstacle avoidance. It has a 20 megapixel sensor cameras which can actually go for the good photography as well as the videography. It is basically using the titanium alloy and the magnesium alloy construction, which is increasing the rigidity of the airframe and reducing its weight. The weight is one of the important parameter when we are actually making the drones. So they are using the titanium and the magnesium alloy, and its flight time is 23 minutes and its weight is around 460 grams. The drawback of this drone is that in this drone you cannot remove these camera system. It is a fixed camera drone. So this is the only drawback it has. Otherwise, these drones are very good for multi-purpose, where you are actually using the same camera system. You can go for that. And these cameras are basically in the visible portion of the electromagnetic spectrum, in general 400 to 700 nanometers. Another series which they have is called as the Mavic series. Mavic series are the very small drones. You can keep it in the small bags which you have. They unfold themselves during their flight and they have a high endurance also. So it's a flight autonomy with obstacle detection and front and back obstacle avoidance. It's the compact and the foldable design. This is one of the best thing it is. It is all folded. These are the arms which you are seeing, and this on the basis of these arms it will like this. Since it is folded, it can be used in the bags too. It has a high endurance because it is containing the time 27 minutes, and the maximum payload it can carry is around 300 to 400 grams. In this series also, this is coming with the fixed cameras. Why we are basically concerning about the fixed cameras is, in the case of remote sensing, we are interested in multiple electromagnetic spectrum only. We do have the cameras in the UAVs which can go for multiple reason of the electromagnetic spectrum, like visible, infrared, shortwave infrared, thermal, radar, as well as the lidar also. These are the Inspire series. This is actually the series where you can change the camera. This is called as the camera, or in terms of the UAV's definition, it's called as the gimbal, which is actually detachable gimbal. Means you can detach the camera which is available in the Inspire series. So once you can detach the camera, it means you can change the camera. which is designed for the other portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. It is basically having the endurance of 18 to 27 minutes, and it can carry a maximum payload of around 400 to 450. Apart from this, these types of drones can operate under minus 10 degree to 40 degree centigrade. So high altitudes, we are actually preferring these types of drone where the temperature is almost minus 10. Another series which is actually available in the market is called as the Matrix series. These are the quadcopters drone. Sorry, quadcopter. And it has an endurance of around 30 to 35 minutes. And the best portion is it can carry a load of around 2 kg. So if you can see, this is the place where you can put something which you need to deliver somewhere, and you can deliver it to a designated place. These are the professional ones which is being used by the industries also. Most of the industries are actually using these quadcopters and the octocopters for industrial purpose, for delivering purpose. These drones are dual purpose. It means you are taking the cameras, you are taking the flights. Apart from this, you can carry something with these type of drones too. Currently, we do have drones which can carry up to 2-3 kg wazn by this. This is the Inspire series V2, which is available in the NIT Raipur. We do have this. This Inspire 1 V2 is basically the Inspire series 1, which has a detachable gimbal. This gimbal can be detached, so we can change the camera in the visible portion, and we can install in thermal and infrared portion. So as per the needs, we can change the cameras. This is the another unit which we do have for the controlling. This is the controlling units by which you are actually controlling the UAVs. These controlling units have two mode. One is the manual mode. It means it is the human which is actually controlling this whole system. Another one is the digital mode. Digital mode is something that you define your path where to fly, and drone will automatically go to that place, will start according to your need, and will come back to its designated place. So this is the benefit of this DJI machine, that it has the multiple modes. This is the camera which you are seeing right now, is called as the gimbal in the case of UAVs, and it is actually replaceable. You can use the higher resolution camera if required. You can use the low resolution cameras. You can use the other cameras like thermal, microwave, lidar also for your flight. These are the specifications they have, and these are the formats which you are receiving, particularly when you are flying in these areas. And the photo size, you can also define the overlappings. In general, what in photogrammetry we used to go for 60-40, but these systems actually allow us to go for 90-10 also. It means you can get the coverage of 90% of the second scene. So it's a 1910 means you are actually getting the 3D in a very high resolution. So for the photogrammetry purpose, these drones are very good. You can go for the stereo images as well as digital elevation model, digital terrain model, and digital surface model. So this Inspire series can be used for the hyperspectral remote sensing, visible, thermal, microwave, lidar, as well as the photogrammetry. Series means why we are talking about this Inspire series, because the gimbal is changeable and the availability of the other sensor in the same gimbal is also available. So once you are having the different requirement, you can change the gimbal and can get the different. Now coming to the hardware portion, we do have multiple hardware which is available in the visible region, which is called as the Mica Sense Red Edge cameras. These are the cameras which you can install, or the Parrot Square multispectral cameras. These are compatible cameras with the drone systems. You can use other cameras apart from the cameras which is installed in the system. But once you have taken the images for flight, it need to be processed properly because it is containing the multiple information like the stereo pairs. So for that we must have a good software, and that software which DJI is giving you is a Pix4D. The software is both mobile as well as the desktop. In the mobile, it is providing you how to fly. So it's a full designated way to flying, and in desktop it is basically used for the post processing. Once you have acquired the data from the field, you need to post process them according to your need. This is also a very typical zone in the case of UAVs, but we have given you these processing software package in terms of the open source or in terms of the priceable. So these are the few software which you can purchase from the market like Pix4D, AZSoft, Drone Deploy, Propeller Network and Precision Hawk. These are the softwares which is subscription based. So you will have to take a subscription of these softwares for the processing. These are the open source software which is available in the market, which you can download from the webs, and this also provide you the same work which the subscription based providing, but the restriction is in terms of the scenes which you are processing. Scene restriction is more in the case of open source. This is how we are actually having a mission planning mission. Like in the mobile application, we can select the type of the drone. We can select the mission in terms of how it need to be done. It's a pattern which you will have to define. Once you have defined the pattern, you can select the areas. Once you have selected the areas, you can define its setting, what you require. See, this is a front overlap, this is a side overlap, what is photogrammetry techniques are saying. So you can go for these overlapping region as well as the angle of the cameras. So you have the possibility to take the tilted cameras also. Once you have defined this, you can start it. Once it is started, it will go in an automatic mode because it's a grid pattern. So grid pattern is almost in a automatic mode. In the system, it will show you that the first picture is taken from here, second is from here, third is from here on the basis of these parameters. Once you are defining these parameters, it will automatically take the pictures of this area. And then finally, it is merging together in the post-processing software for the further use. So this is all about the drone in general available in the market. Now we are actually moving to the application areas particularly, which is being used by these type of drones. We do have survey, civil, mining, construction, process, power particularly, security, agriculture. These are the few names. We can use them anywhere. And now the recently it is coming for the wide changes in the case of agriculture, precision farming, forest movement, even the wildlife movement also. We can track the wildlife by using the drone technology. So multiple names are there. We can go to n numbers of application, depend upon the users. We can go for that. This is how, in general, you have seen through the multiple channels that the police, local police or central police is now working this for the crowd monitoring for an area. So the benefit of this crowd monitoring is that you can immediately see the areas where you need to take the action, and the drones are now coming with the AI technology. So the AI technology automatically tells what basically you require. So once you have set the parameters, AI technology will automatically tell you the areas where you need to take the actions. So it can be monitored the events even in the most crowded area by using the drones. They provide you with eyes in the sky, facilitating us to have close monitor to the areas. It's a drone patrolling. Now the patrolling methods are also changed. So in the night hours particularly, we do use these drones for the patrolling. In the Russia, these are using a very good manner. In the night, they have a sequential drone patrolling. It means once one drone will go and it will cover the entire area, then another drone will automate. So they have automated this whole process for the droning. So it's a separate eyes have a watch for you and send alive feeds of the areas to the watches for any of the suspicious activity. They do not produce any sound, but provides a close monitoring for you even during night hours. If we are using the infrared technology in these sensors, it will provide you a very good coverage in the night too. Those areas where the lights are not available, we can go for the infrared sensors, infrared camera sensors for the patrolling. This is how the riot controlling. It's the possibility to control the riot without involvement of human losses. How? This is deploying the drones which could use a tear bomb. So if you are seeing, you are using a tear bomb and other means to control the riot, which in turn reducing the direct exposure of the officials. For this purpose, when we are carrying something, we need quadcopter or octacopter. So once you are having the quadcopter and octacopter, it can carry some ammunition, some bombs, tear bombs or something. So these are also being used in those areas where we do have a riots. So we don't need to go for a direct control. We can go it there. We are also using it a crop damage assessment. It measures the extent of damage due to the natural disaster, be able to achieve total assessment of the whole area in such a short amount of time accurately with high precision. In India also recently we are using the same technology for flood zone monitoring. So the flooded areas we are actually now monitoring this. Apart from this, for the compensation of against this damage, we are using the drone technology. Earlier we were using the Cartosat data, but now the officials are also using the same technology for the different purpose. Crop health monitoring. This is also one of the sector which you can do. See, this drone is also able to use these pesticides in the farmlands. So they are also being used in that also. Apart from the monitoring of drone, if you have the NDVI kind of thing you need to require, you can go for visible as well as infrared region. So once you have the infrared region, you can go for these type of crop health assessment in your area. Now this is one of the era which we are using is called as the dam monitoring. The dams are being monitored now by using the drone technology. In and around dams and the other structures that are hard to see to find the cracks and extent for the damage to these structures. Apart from this, we can also see the cracks which is actually in the drone. Now the AI technology actually enable us to find the automatic linear features. So if a drone picture is there, the AI technology will allow you to find out where are actually the snag or where are actually the cracks. It is an automatic detection is also available. So you can use it for the dam monitoring purpose of your area. This is one of the era which we are using is called as the power line inspection. Though it is not done in India, but outside India, in the Europe and American countries, they are using it for the inspection. So how power lines of high voltage are being scanned, and they are created a 3D. Once you are creating a 3D, immediately you will know where are actually the cracks. So lidar system are actually being used for this purpose in the drone technology. Once you have the lidar in the drone, you will immediately get the third dimension, and the cracks are clearly visible in these technologies. Highway survey. This is how we are actually now using for the survey of the highways. Apart from this, we are also doing for the assessment of the quality assessment can also be done using the highways. If you have the thermal cameras, you can also identify the places where the heat changes are more in the case of highways as well as in the case of urban areas, and they will automatically detect those zones where the changes are actually occurring. So these are the technologies is really helpful for the urban monitoring. This is the medical emergency, not in India but Europe. Yes, Europe and American countries, they are also now using for the medical emergency. In the case of medical emergency, if a small box is there, we can use the hybrid copter, and once we need to carry a big this medicine or something, then we have to go for either for the quadcopter or the octacopter. On the basis of the weight, we have to decide this one. One more thing which is in the case of medical emergency is that there are the two options. Either the this drone will land to the surface for this providing the box, or it is also possible that from a certain heights this drone will leave the medical boxes, so it need not to go for the base. So baseless and base, both options are also available in the case of medical emergency drones. Why? Because most of the time in the flooded areas, drones have not possible to land to any surfaces. So in that cases, drone can drop these boxes to a particular designated places. These are the rescue missions in the high altitude zones, in the high temperature zones, or in the sea and river. These drones are basically being used by the peoples with the multiple sensors depending upon the terrain. For instance, if it is a high altitude zone in terms of the glaciers or something, they are using the thermal cameras. In terms of the visible, they are using the blue light cameras or visible cameras, particularly the sea, river or something. So in that case also, they are using as a rescue drones. For the disaster management, they are again getting the information of the areas where we are actually having some disasters, and after that they will cover the entire situation. It will also give you a rescue plan. We can use a drone for the rescue plan management also in the case of disasters. We do have multiple drones with the military application. Basically, this is the requirement of the hours now, from the missile launch system to the convoy information, or the information from the different portion. We can use the military drones also. This is for the mapping and the inspection of an area. A simple mapping can also be possible using the drone technology, and you can go for the inspection. In the case of civil also, if you have an area where the work is actually in progress, You can monitor your entire area at a glance by using the drone technology rather than going to the place and understanding the work progress. You can use this same technology. This is for the safety inspections. Multiple safety measures, in particularly in the case of ONGC, oil and gas sectors. Drone are actually being used for the high pipes and some things. So it is also being used as a safety inspection. These are the general drones which is being used for the journalism and the photography. Depend upon the requirement, you can use the quadcopter or octacopter. This is important. Whatever the application is there, it is based on the key products. So this is basically what you are seeing is the key products which can be generated by a drone technology. See, this is a 3D point cloud data by the lidar you can generate, or by the stereo pairs you can generate. So this is possible by using the UAV technologies. This is how this whole area can be seen in a 2D as well as in a 3D immediately. This is how the health monitoring system like the NDVIs and everything can be prepared immediately on the fly and off the fly. And this is a DTM or DTM or DSM which you can prepare by using. See, this is there are the different ways. You can see the undulations in terms of the height as well as in terms of the depth. So the best portion is it can give you the information about the depth also. Apart from the altitude, this is also giving you the depth because it has a stereo images. So once you are covering the stereo images, it is also giving you the depth information. These are the mosaics in the mining sectors. If you need to know or to understand the mining activities, you can go for the ortho images, ortho mosaic images. So at a glance, your mines area can be covered. This is a volume calculation tool which is available in the UAVs. If you have a volume, like in the coal mines, you have a coal at a place, so immediately you can calculate the volume on the basis of weight and height and 3D. Drones allows to calculate the volume of that area immediately, and it is almost 90 to 95% accuracy. It's 3D texture modeling that is also possible, like the architecture peoples or the civil peoples. They need to know about the 3D model, so it can be captured and can be created in the lab also. This is the contour lines. Since we are getting the digital elevation model using the stereo images, you can generate the contour lines, and it can be generated from 5 meter to up to what you want. So 50 meter, 100 meters, because the dam you are generating is based on the stereo image differences. And once you are setting that stereo image difference, you can generate the high resolution dam as well as the high resolution contour lines. For surveying also, we are using these products. Like these drones can have a multiple angles, so it can give you a round angles too in an area. Mining as well as in the case of mapping in terms of 2D and 3D, it can also capture the entire area. This is how the construction are actually being monitored. The agriculture and precision farming, this is the real estate. For instance, this area and this area, this is basically the lidar application, and this area. You can immediately assess the areas as well as the construction works. So this is the some of the very good tool which we can use in this case. So this is all about the remote sensing which we have done, the images and everything which you are getting in a remote sensing domain. But how now the GIS can be used in collaboration with the drone technology, because the images which you are getting in a digital format, and they are actually the stereo images, so you can go for the this 3D, 2D as well as the digital images. But GIS can also be used under the UAVs. As you know, GIS is a computer-based system. It can capture, store, organize, and display data. So once you are capturing the data through drone, it is also possible. In the GIS, it also show you multiple types of data in the same map, which it helps for the scientist and the other person to gather the information. Now coming to how these drones are actually helping us in a GIS domain. How? They are time saver because you are getting the information of an area. They are environmental friendly. They can be as a safeguard, and the upfront cost is very minimal, and the long-term expenses could be lower in the case of GIS. For instance, if you need to create a road network in an area, or if you are a builder and you are creating the buildings in an area, you can immediately know where are the buildings and the progress of their formation. Apart from that, you can also plan the GIS models because you are getting the imageries, you are getting the 3Ds, so you can create a model for the assessment of these areas. Sorry, this is replication. So using the drone, it captures, it digitize, it check, measure and inspect, and it share. Whatever the information you are getting, it is being captured by the drones. It is digitization. Digitization is automatic also. We do have an automatic digitization tool in the software. After the digitization, we are checking. The system will automatically check this, and the man intervention will also require during the check. And it can be shared immediately with the field staff you have or with the other stakeholders of the company. This can be done by using the multiple type of camera system, like maybe the RGB, thermal, multispectral, or any other camera. So this whole option are available for all type of the camera systems. This is how the drone data is being processed on the desktop, on the cloud, and it can be analyzed for the GIS analysis in terms of the volume calculation, in terms of the statistical analysis, and in terms of the linear feature extraction. We can also get the linear feature extraction on the basis of the camera, and these linear features are in a GIS, in the shape files basically, in the line in general. We can also collect the point data automatically by using the drone data during the process. We can also go for the spatial and temporal analysis because we have gathered this remote sensing images, and once we are putting it into a GIS domain, it has all the GPS locations and the DGPS information. It can be used for the spatial as well as the temporal analysis of that area. It can also get the high resolution and the atmospheric effects, so we can immediately understand that. This is a photo which is basically for the network analysis, the road network analysis, and this is for the hotspot analysis. This is whole in the GIS domain, though the back end the drone images are being used, but this is basically in a GIS domain. The additional products which we can generate in terms of the file is the shape files, annotations. We can also calculate the distance, we can also calculate the areas, and we can also mark the areas. So this is whole thing which we can do in the form of a raster as well as in the form of a vector data. And these vector data are having two possibilities. One, either it can be generated through the man intervention, or it can be generated through the automatic situation. We do have the capability to go for automatic digitization. So automatic digitization is also available in the drone softwares. And apart from this, if you want, you can also generate your own data. Once you have generated the data, you can put together in a single frame for the conclusion. So this is basically the advantages we do have. We do get a very high spatial resolutions. We can get the 3D modeling. We can get the data which is actually not with the clouds. We do have the high temporal resolution. High temporal means it's depend upon the user. It's the drone, you can fly it anytime. So the temporal resolution is now under the user dependent. So user can decide the temporal resolution of the data. The technology is available and a low cost technology and is innovative. And we are getting the innovations day by day in the agriculture sectors, in the defense sectors, forestry, whatever it is, we have the applications. This is all from my side regarding the UAVs. I think I have finished a little early. Yes. So meanwhile, we can talk about the question and answer sessions if you have anything related to the drones.
Thank you, sir. Okay, is there any query? Okay, Mona ma'am wants to ask something.
Please.
Sir, I have one question wherein am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
you are
ma'am. Yes.
Okay, sir. At one point in time, you showed that no, it is possible to calculate the volume for some areas, especially the natural resources, no site like mining. So, in that case, how do we define the boundary? I mean, no, that from where you till where to where you consider the volume. How do we define that?
I will take you to that place again, then I'll be able to answer you properly, I think. This is a stack of a particular type of mineral or particular things. So once this stack is there, immediately the drone will come. These are the boundaries, with the lower one where it is touching to the surface, because it's a 3D analysis. Before going to the calculation, it's a 3D analysis. So on the basis of the height as well as the volume, it will calculate. So these are the boundaries which is actually touching to the surfaces. So it is not the mining. For instance, if I need to calculate the volume, it is not possible for the mining, but a dump is there. So for a dump, it is possible to calculate the volume of a particular area. Is it clear from my side?
Uh, uh, yeah, I mean, but sometimes no, we may want that the volume should be only calculated to a certain limit and not beyond that. But if the drone, I mean, how do we judge that, or how do we define that for the drone to collect the data?
For instance, see, there are the two things. Either you have to have a stack of the limited material, or you can define these boundaries which you are seeing is a user dependent, right? So you can define these boundaries accordingly. These boundaries are the shape files in terms of the GIS files. So these files you are getting, so you can change these sections to the upper level as well as to the lower levels if you want. But drone will automatically calculate the altitudinal changes. So once the changes are being there, it can calculate. But you have the possibility to change these boundaries according to your own need.
Okay, okay.
Any other question? Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Actually, I was muted. Is there someone else who wants to ask something? Let me repeat it again.
Sir, is it possible to locate some detail below the surface of the earth or underground surface, pipeline, etc.? Is it possible? With that?
This is a very good question. Recently, we have done this job. For this, what you will have to do, you will have to go for microwave remote sensing. So if you have the microwave cameras or microwave sensors, you can install this under the drone technology and you can get the area. But microwave remote sensing is also having the limitation in terms of the material. Like the L band can penetrate up to 4 meters in the case of loose sediments like sand or clay. But if it is a hard rock terrain, you cannot go under this. Recently, there is a change in the geophysical parameters, like the GPR technology is also being used in the drone, but it is not yet available for the civilians or the general purpose. It is under the R&D stage. So what they are planning is that once you have installed any the geophysical GPR kind of instrument in the drone, we may get some idea, but there is a chance for attenuation because we cannot remove that atmospheric parameters. So there is a change, but microwave remote sensing, you can go up to a level of 3 to 4 meter in the sand areas. We have recently done the same thing in the Rajasthan area. We have the airborne survey using the L band data. So in that case, we have found 3 to 4 meter penetration.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any other question? Okay. So that's all from the question answer session. Thank you so much, Himanshu sir, for finding time and visiting us again. And I personally think drones have now penetration in almost all areas, from our daily to daily life to economy, and from sending information to military services. So I think the whole talk is going to be quite beneficiary for everyone who is listening to you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
One more thing which I would like to clarify, because we do have a lot of audience here.
Yes,
now,
sir.
for drone, we have to take the permission. We have to register ourselves with the Indian government, and we have to take the permission before flying to any of the areas. So purchasing a drone is easy, but flying in an area requires your registration with the DGCA as well as with the local administration. If you are flying your drone in any of the areas without the permission, that will leading to the jails. So it is very essential to understand the limitations of these drone tech.
Thank you so much, sir, for highlighting this information.
Thank you very much for inviting me for this wonderful audience.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. We are really fortunate to listen to you.
For sharing your experience and time with us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Can I leave now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, Vivek.
I think Vivek. Vivek, sir. So there will be a test from 12:40, as the information has already been shared in the WhatsApp group and through different means. And after that, we have organized a closing ceremony. So all of us you are required to present in that ceremony. Ma'am, is there anything else we need to announce?
Vivek is going to announce. Where is Vivek?
Okay. Yes, yes.
Yes, Vivek.
Yes, Vivek, sir.
So will there be separate duty certificate provided, or will the certificate be sufficient?
He is asking issue certificate.
No, and we cannot actually, we will not give any duty certificates. We are not releasing any duty certificates.
Oh, okay, ma'am.